Welcome to Unleashed at Work and Home. I'm Colleen Pilar, and this is where pet professionals come for honest conversations about what it really takes to show up for yourself while serving the animals you love. If you've ever felt caught between compassion and exhaustion, you're in the right place. Here we explore what it means to reconnect with your inner wisdom and rediscover the joy that brought you to this work. Make sure to join my email community at colleenpilar.com for gentle, practical insights designed specifically for pet professionals. Now, let's dive in. Welcome back to Unleashed at Work and Home. My guest today is Jeni Grant, and she's a dog trainer and owner of Train Your Best Friend. Welcome, Jeni.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
I'm happy to have you here today.
Thank you. My first podcast.
Your first podcast. Hooray. Well, lucky me to have it be on mine. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about your journey of how you became a dog trainer. So what did you think you were going to do?
Well, pretty much always as a child, pretty much everybody thought I was going to do something with animals because I loved animals. And I grew up in one of those houses where I really didn't have a lot of supervision. And they early on decided, my parents, my father told me this years later, that all animals loved me. So they just let me loose. and he had even said, years later, he had said to me, I remember that time you were wrestling with that junkyard dog. And really, I thought that was funny that you were doing that. And I was like, wow, great parenting there.
Yeah.
But it worked out. So it never caused any problems. And so I always loved animals. And of course, when you're a child, a lot of times they'll be like, well, you're going to be a veterinarian. So that's,
Yeah.
And then probably, I don't remember, I think fourth grade, I got a horse. And I was crazy about horses. And so I did that for many years. And I loved that. So that was fantastic. So probably when I was younger, I would have thought horses maybe. And then I went to I was always very interested in people as well. I thought people were interesting. So I was a psychology major and I thought I was going to go on to be a counselor. But by the time I graduated, I kind of felt like, yeah, I'm going to go back to animals. So I started working in a rural animal shelter in New Jersey and just working in the kennels and trying to learn. And it was really hard and really absorbing. And I did that. They moved me up to manager. So I did that for about 7 years. And that was very intense.
I bet.
I always say I think I didn't sleep for 7 years. So that was very intense, but very fulfilling. And I still am friends with people from that time. And, it was, fun too. I mean, you don't always get a chance to chase a cow down the road and, things like
I haven't yet chased a cow down the road, but one day.
And go into a field with a bull to get a dog. And just, a lot of interesting things. And I was young and stupid, so I probably did lots of things I shouldn't have done. Because again, probably that premise of, everything will be fine. But
yeah.
So I did that, and then
I graduated from college and went right to a shelter.
I think I might have had some part-time jobs just to get money for a little while. I moved back. I went to school in California. Got married and moved back to New Jersey, which is where I grew up. And then I wanted to work with animals, so I was applying to, veterinarians. I was like all over whatever was with animals, I was applying. And so I found that position, and it was in a very pretty part of. And then so I found that position. And so I did that. So I don't remember. I wasn't too much before that.
Okay, so you were there 7 years.
Yes. Well, I left for briefly, and they asked me to come back. So there was that. do not actually remember the exact timing of all of that.
We don't need there are
Yeah,
no fact checkers
but I
here. We're
know
not
it was
looking
like
at
7. I
chronology.
remember it was like 7 years. I remember adding it up to be like, well, 7 years.
Yeah.
Then I got horribly burned out, and
Oh,
did
wow, that never happens to anyone.
yeah, yeah, I felt like, everywhere I went, people were talking about animals, and I just felt like it never
Mhm.
stopped.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So I worked at, ETS. They make the SATs and the PSATs and all that,
Mhm.
and I did that for several years. I don't remember exactly how many years, just a few. And then I moved to Connecticut, and I started a pet sitting business. It was Lyme, Connecticut, which is beautiful. I really liked the area. It's really nice. It has the ocean and the river and lots of birds and animals. It's a huge forest, continuous forest there. Um, and I started a pet sitting business, and that quickly morphed into doing the dog behavior counseling. That's what I call myself, a dog behavior counselor. Um, Sometimes I'll say dog trainer just because that's what the public knows
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
um, but if you saw what I did, it's definitely or like counseling. I sit down with
Mhm.
everybody. Um, uh, and so I started that I think in 2000. So it's been a while now.
And was that also called Train Your Best Friend, or was that a different business in a different time?
I think I might have started under Jeni Grant's dog training, if I'm remembering correctly, maybe. And then at some point switched it over to Train Your Best Friend, the LLC.
Okay. But you're no longer in Connecticut, is that correct?
No, I moved a lot because I had a relationship and he was corporate. So we moved a lot, which was not easy, but um, we moved from there to Massachusetts. We were in Connecticut, I think, about 7 years. And I really loved Connecticut. I really loved where we were. Was just there was a million trails to walk your dogs. There was lots of dog people. Um, lots of dog training centers. I had a lot of connections there. It was really nice. A little cold, but it was
A
like
little cold, but
yeah.
beautiful.
So we went to Massachusetts for a year, and then Maryland, I think, for about 5 years. And there were lots of dog people there, lots of connections there. And then, well, and uh, and so I was there about 5 years, and then moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico. Big change.
Oh, yes.
Um, yeah. And that's been it's 9 or 10 years now.
Wow.
Um, love Santa Fe.
What attracted
Very
you to Santa
different.
Fe?
I went to visit a friend who moved there, a childhood friend that lived for 2 weeks, and I went all over. And I always loved Georgia O'Keeffe. And I went to college in California, and kind of like I would go to Joshua Tree and stuff. So I kind of started learned to like the desert, and I kind of felt a calling to go
Mhm.
west, I guess. And it is just it's quiet enough, so it's not super busy. It's very open. It's just taking a ride around is like riding around a national park, really. There's a million places to hike, and it's just very open and beautiful, and I really like it.
So, I haven't
It's
been there.
beautiful.
I've seen it, on TV, and it looks beautiful. It looks lovely and very, very different
It
geography
is,
from
it's kind of like its own little country, honestly. It's a
Mhm.
very different kind of place. It's not perfect, but it's really not overcrowded, and I don't think, and again, there's just so many places to go and see
Mhm.
that are just open.
And so you call yourself a dog behavior counselor. Tell me more about that. Like,
So when I
I'm
started years ago, um, that was the thing that they would say, because I've always taken serious clients because, I came from an animal welfare background.
Mhm.
I saw a need really early on for fear and anxiety and things like that. And at that time when I started, there was not a lot available. I only really remember Nicole Wilde's book at that time.
Mhm.
Um, and so I kind of independently researched fear and all the emotions because I was a psych major, so I could do that. And, found that most of that research was on animals. So I was like, well, okay, this is, so, so I kind of made it my, calling to do that. And I felt like I could help people and offer maybe something that they weren't getting, at that time. But, like I think it was Nicole Wilde's book that said, you don't want to call yourself a behaviorist because that's usually a degree, a specific degree. So at that time, that's what they had said, call yourself a dog behavior counselor. That's okay.
Mhm.
So that's where that came from. But again, the public does not understand that,
Yeah.
so that's not really a public friendly. But it is
I
very
think it
much what
makes
I
sense
do.
to them though. Well, I don't know. I guess I'm so far away from being what the general public is and reading something, but to me I would think if someone was looking for a trainer and they came across a dog behavior counselor, they would probably have some sense of what that might mean.
Yeah, I think
Like
now
recognizing that it's a
Yeah, I think now if they have a serious problem, they recognize the word behavior,
Mhm.
maybe more for them, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that part, that word, I think they do connect with, at least at this point, a lot of people. But yeah, so and I feel like I use my psych degree. I sit down with people. A lot of what I do is with people and engaging with people and connecting with people and supporting people,
Mhm.
especially since I do serious cases. So they do need a lot of support and understanding
Yeah.
um, and a lot of helping them make difficult decisions.
Yeah.
So so there's a lot of tears. I see a lot of tears, and then you get, of course, a lot of people that are, "Oh, that must be fun playing with puppies all day." It's like, yes, I have that too, but it's also, the tears part, the harder part.
Yeah. It is. I think that's such a difficult piece of it that there really isn't a whole lot of training for us in terms
Mhm.
of how to help people in these really difficult emotions and hard decisions that they're having to make and recognizing that things may be a little more serious than they fully understood or whatever the situation may be. Um, it's a lot. It's a lot to be with people when they're in those
Mhm.
situations.
Then you get family dynamics
Oh
together,
yeah. So you just change your title to dog behavior counselor and family therapist. No, no, no.
Yeah.
That's also a
Yeah,
registered term. We can't do that one.
yeah, I always thought it would be a good idea to do both, in some cases, but you, like, have somebody else with you. It almost is a great idea, a family counselor, and then
Mhm.
and, I did study a lot about communication and negotiation. I early on saw that that was really what was needed.
Yeah.
Um,
There's so much overlap, isn't there? Like when I really started diving into the coaching world and learning about positive psychology, I took a 6-month program in positive psychology, like a certificate program. And, they would hold up a book and they'd be like, in this book, they talk about this. And I'd be like, oh, I read that one. And in this book,
yeah.
they talk about this. And I'd be like, oh, I read that one too. And there were other very well read members in the class, but I was a little surprised and they were very surprised that the dog trainer was the one who really had such a strong grounding in it, but dog training is about people. It's
Right, yeah, and
really
a lot
about
of it does
people.
come right out of
Yeah.
psychology, I mean, for
Yeah.
sure, I had already met Temple Grandin in college, for
Mhm.
people. That was, so it was interesting to see some of that stuff brought in, and so it's interesting. That's why I always try to put my psychology degree because I think it should count. It's, very applicable.
Mhm. Yeah, it is. It is. It matters. So I'm thinking about this in terms of just like this whole field. What is what do people say when you explain dog behavior counselor to them? Like, what is their response? Do they just get it, or do you not even really explain it, or what's the
I've
response?
moved away from explaining a lot of things and just kind of get right into what can I do for you? You know.
That's really why we're
So
there.
yeah, so I think also with years you get the confidence to kind of do that, and, because a
Mhm,
lot of times I'll first thing I'll say like on the phone is, "Tell me about your dog." So I kind of skip over a lot of things. So I don't do a lot of explaining what I'm saying and things. And I try to use simple language as much as possible. And I usually either compare to things. I've had a lot of special dogs, so I can compare to that, or clients I've already seen, or I compare it to people, but I try to make it relatable.
mhm.
You know, because I think we use a lot of language that in the dog training behavior world that is not very public. I really try. I've spent years trying to do that as much as I can.
Yeah, it's tricky. There's so much jargon and, that doesn't translate, and so talking to
Yeah, and I
people
don't want
who
them thinking about what does that word mean.
yeah.
That's not really where I'm going.
The one that stumped me in the beginning and still does is recall. Like, I understand how it became the word, but, like, nothing in me would ever have named that cue recall.
Right.
Like, we're gonna teach a good recall, and I get it, but it's so interesting to me that it's still here after all these
And we use
bazillion
some
years,
things
like
that are kind of from other countries, like leave it. It's really kind of an expression in the UK
mhm,
is leave it. So we kind of use these expressions that don't necessarily come from here in the US.
yeah, yeah,
And
words are fascinating.
I do it. So, and I usually apologize. I'm like, oh, that was some jargon. I'm sorry. And then I try to go back.
Yeah,
But I usually try to learn something new, which I enjoy doing anyway. I like learning new things. Like a big thing I've done at Santa Fe is try to learn to dance, partner dancing, which I'd never done. I had done other kinds of dancing, but not dancing. So I kind of focused in on salsa. So I'm always learning something new. So it kind of always puts me in that position of being the beginner.
mhm,
So it does really wake you up and be like, okay, you need to, simplify, and
yes,
really to remember that they don't know, you know, what you're talking about and how hard it is to be a beginner, you know.
yeah. It is, it's so hard to be a beginner. Even a
Yeah.
beginner with some
That's
background
uncomfortable.
knowledge, because I adopted a dog in late January who has some pretty challenging issues that I didn't see going into it, and, um, so I've been learning some of the newer techniques since I was in the field, and I can fully understand the concept of what you're asking me to do and still struggle with doing it. So, like, I'm not the beginner on the level of like, okay, let's talk about dogs and what these calming signals mean and all. Like, I'm so far from that beginner. And yet there are skill pieces where I'm like, oh, I messed that up again. Oh, I messed it up again. And it's humbling just to see like,
Right.
oh, I'm just learning a new way of doing something that I should be reasonably good at in, like on paper. Um, and and realistically, I probably am reasonably good at it from the perspective of a beginner. Like my instructors have not been
Right.
going, "Wow, you don't know what you're doing at all." But on the other hand, I have not told them I'm a dog trainer because
Right. Yeah.
like
Which, yeah, I would do that too.
and walk in and
Yeah.
go, "By the way, I'm a dog trainer, and I'm really gonna struggle in your class." But it's fascinating, this whole perspective of what it's like to be a beginner and
And
how
it's different when it's your dog.
oh,
That's a
it's
totally different.
completely yeah. Yeah, I've been so grateful to have this amazing network of people to talk to since I adopted this guy because I have just flat out said to people, I am too close. I need to talk to somebody who can talk me through this because I've been playing whack-a-mole of like there are
Mm.
multiple issues going on and I'm doing a
And
little
that's
bit on
always really
each of
hard,
them.
yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm like,
Yeah,
just
the more things there
slow me
are, the
down.
harder it is, and yeah, it's and when
Yeah.
I had my special collie, and he was tough, really tough, and I had just had probably my easiest dog. He was a golden retriever that went everywhere with me, always in class with me, could bring him to clients, the whole thing. We had him on a schooner in Maine, do everything.
Mhm.
Then we adopted this beautiful collie, and he was terrified of everything inside and outside, and it was that was a really eye-opening experience for me for what I do because it was really hard, and I remember really the people that helped me were the people that said, "Hey, you're doing a great job. That's just the way he is." That's what
Mhm.
really helped me the
Yeah.
most was, and that was the veterinary behaviorist, and I think Carolyn Barney, I did a phone consult with her, and she was like, "Yeah, I had a dog that did that. Yeah, I totally did that."
Yep.
It was just really nice to hear, you know?
Yeah. Which is I mean, that's a big piece of it. It's just helping people normalize their experience and understand it and see all
Right.
that they are doing, to really feel that they are doing things because so many people are trying so hard with lots and lots of animals, and it's a struggle, and that's kind of the job is to meet them there.
And they're all different. There's so much variety. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing, and it's what keeps it interesting and challenging from the professional point of view because there aren't like form fit here's the answer for you. It's the same as the answer I gave the person before you and the same as the answer I'm giving the next person because we do need to arrange for the nuance of the personalities of all of the beings living in the household and then even just like layout and structure and all the things.
It's definitely it takes a while for them to show you who they are too and what's gonna work for them, especially when they have complex.
Yeah. Yeah. I ask all of my guests to share some words that have meaning to them. And the words you shared are the secret to life is that it is not about you.
Mhm.
Tell me more. So,
And people
when
don't
did that
like
come
that
into
too
your
much when I
life?
say that.
When did
Um,
you hear this and what does it mean to you?
yeah, I'll give you an example. I learned to demo with people's dogs for class,
Mhm.
um, and when you're doing things, and I learned not to do that, because then the dog was focused on me because I was novel and I was coming with food and I knew what I was doing, so all of a sudden they're looking at me and that wasn't comfortable for the people. So I was seeing the people get uncomfortable. Sometimes I felt the dogs were a little uncomfortable. And so I said, I'm going to rethink doing this. So basically, it's not about me looking good in front of the class or wherever I am in front of a seminar or whatever. Um, I'm going to consider, everybody else here.
Mhm.
But it's kind of getting out of that. You know, it's how is it for you? You know what I mean, kind of thing. And then there's times that is about you, of course, that, but uh, but I think it does help me because it helps give me perspective, you know,
Yeah.
to say it's not about me. And sometimes, it's not about me. That's just the dog or that's
Mhm.
just the people, kind of accepting what's in front of you and what's happening. It's just, it's not about me. It's just about this is what's happening. Mm. It's
When
just
did
moving
you
forward.
have that realization? Like, how long have these words been with you?
I think in Connecticut, so that would be a while. 20 years. Yeah. Yeah, 20
20
years.
years. Those are good words to have for 20 years.
Yeah. And again, people don't tend to have a good reaction to it. I think, because I don't know, I think we see it as more of a mean. I don't mean it in a mean way, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, sometimes things just aren't about you. It's just what's happening in front of you. And it's good to remember that.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see how people might not hear it the way it's intended. Like, I can see where on first blush people might have responses to that, but I'm not imagining you running around going to people, "Well, it's not about you. It's not about you."
Oh, I don't say it to anybody.
So,
I don't say it to anybody. It's not something I say to other people. It's for myself or anything.
yeah,
But when I
that's
do
where we
tell
would get into
people,
trouble.
yeah, and I don't usually tell clients. That's not usually something I say to clients. That would be just like talking to you or something. But I
Mhm.
have seen people's reactions. It's like, well, it's like, I don't mean, your safety doesn't matter or you don't matter. It's,
Right, right.
yeah,
I mean, it ties in a little bit too to the whole, where we get so worried about what people are thinking about us, and the reality is they're not usually thinking about us. Like they're
yeah, we get
thinking
a
about
little
them and
too
their life, and yeah, and so when someone doesn't respond to your email, that's also not about you. Like that's
right,
what's ever going on with them, and when when someone's frustrated or cranky, it's probably not about you. It probably is
right.
about something bigger and beyond, and we are all having our own personal experience that is in fact about us. But when we filter everything through the importance from that perspective, that could distort a lot of reality for us, and to just kind of be like, "Oh, no, most of
Yeah, and
this
like
is not
doing
really."
something like this, I mean, years ago, I would have been very self-conscious, and now I just kind of do it. you know, it took practice, and I did research how to speak in front of people and how to do all that, because I had to do some public speaking and stuff. But it's sort of like that too. It's like, well, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to say what's important to me, and move on.
Yeah. Which is awesome and such a gift, because what I hear from people who listen to this podcast is that they each take something a little bit different from a conversation. Again, because each person is having their own experience. And when somebody shows up and just shares their life, their experience, their thoughts, you're giving, and without any attachment to what anyone receives. You're not saying like, here's what you need to know, but you're just sharing your experience, and it is a gift and people are receiving. We just don't have any idea what it is. But
Right,
but this idea of, when you're doing it, like, it's not about you, it's about them, it it's empowering in many ways, and honestly, that I think is the piece that, for me, is what got me to be able to work with people at all, or dogs especially, um, was that I wanted to work with the dogs so much that I got over my own fears of public speaking and working with people and putting myself out. All of those things that were so cripplingly terrifying was the desire to be with them
right,
and
yeah.
have that
It's important to you.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that, I mean, I guess we could say that was about me, but it was really about them. Like, I wanted to serve and help in
Like,
those
I still
ways.
can't do a wedding toast first. You know what I mean? If
Oh,
it's
no.
not, yeah, if you can't ask me to talk about cupcakes, so it has to be something I'm passionate about,
Yeah.
and have strong feelings.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, you would never want me to do a wedding toast. I would just probably cry through the whole thing. It would be terrible.
Yeah, I would shrink from that. Oh, no, it's fine. I don't really do that. That's not really my thing. Yeah.
So, if I could give you a magic wand and you could bestow a blessing upon pet professionals everywhere, what would you give us?
I I think it's really important to take care of yourselves, your mental health, your physical health. I think it is a very draining profession, and I don't think you get enough credit and enough support. So I think you really have to carve that out for yourself. And that's really important. And I wish them all to take care of themselves, whatever that means, whether that means leaving the business or changing the business. That's
Mhm.
that, that's what I would say.
Yeah. And those are both completely viable options. Leaving the business, changing
Right.
the business, um, taking care of themselves within the business as it is. Like it is a tricky thing, and there's no one right way for anyone to be. You said there's not enough support, and I 100% agree. If I had a second magic wand, what kind of support would you like to see, particularly for people? No, never mind. Period. What kind of support would you like to see for pet professionals?
Well, I'd like them to get better benefits, better pay, better have their organizations really support them and help them thrive. Um, and offer the counseling, and it is nice that that's more common now.
Mm-hmm.
And offer the support and just supporting each other too, I think more, and really
Hmm.
understanding how hard it is for everyone, and that's important to support everybody. Um, I think it can be a very critical group sometimes. So I think it's hard because, you're dealing with the public, and you get kind of drained. So you do need something to fill you back up. Um, and I think giving everybody a lot more credit, a lot more kindness. And like I said, I'd like them to take care of their health and not overextend themselves. Um, all those things, we've lost some good trainers
Yeah,
over.
yeah, we absolutely have. We absolutely have. And those are hard lessons to learn, to take care of oneself and to not overextend and all of those pieces. We have to hear the message over and over and over until we finally do hear the message. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. If people wanted to learn more about you and your work, how could they do that?
I have a website, trainyourbestfriend.com, and I also am Train Your Best Friend Jeni Grant, Jeni, on Facebook. I'm on Facebook a lot, and I have a YouTube channel you can find on my site too, which I haven't done
Okay.
much with, but there are things on there I think are still valuable. Um, and I think those are the main ways.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'll link up to those in the show notes. And thank you so much for talking with me today, Jenny.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed the conversation.
I appreciate having you.
Thank you.
That's our conversation for today. If something we talked about resonated, I invite you to sit with it. Notice what feels true and what you want to explore further. You don't have to have it all figured out to start moving toward what matters. Whatever showed up for you today, clarity, questions, even resistance, trust that it's pointing you towards something important. For more support, join my weekly notes at colleenpilar.com. And until next time, remember, you are enough. Always, just as you are.